Hey everybody, hope you had a great couple of weeks. It's been, I guess, a little over a week since I made the last video. Um, just wanted to do a little update. I did get my new tripod for my camera in the mail, so as soon as I do some more work, I will get a video of that. I did go back to my parents' house and took up more track. I would say right about now I've got about 50% taken up. I didn't really see the point of making another video showing the same thing I had already done. Um, Plus my stand hadn't arrived at that time. So I didn't want to bore you with that. What you're watching now is a train ride video I found on YouTube of Russ Eldridge. What the hell is it called? Russ Eldridge's White Creek Railroad, and this is a gorgeous layout. I figured we could just let this play and listen to some easy jazz while we relax and talk train a little bit. So I did get about 50% of the track up from my parents' house. I'd say about 90% of the track that I have taken to my property I have already stripped the ties and separated all the rail. I still have to remove the uh, rail hardware from the ends of the rails. I'm thinking a lot of those rail connector plates with the four holes in it I can reuse. Plus I also did buy some bar stock from Home Depot and chopped them all up into 4-inch pieces, and I just have to drill holes in those. I figure I might be able to save a little money by doing that myself, and then after I did the math it all works out to roughly the same. So I guess moving forward I'll just order pre-drilled um, track connectors because it's just the same price and then I do all the work. Um, so besides that, I am waiting on the track connector hardware to arrive. I did order a bunch of the locking nuts and bolts that go through the track connectors to tie the track together, because I didn't see any point in saving the old ones. They were all rusted and stripped, so I was going to get fresh hardware for that. I did locate my surplus of track supplies, and I was shocked to see that I had like 4 bags of the track screws. I was like, oh my god, thank you. It just saved like $150 right there. I had 4 bags, I think 1,000 screws in each bag. There was some rail connector hardware there. I was like, oh boy, I can get started soon. I even ordered 5 yards of 3/4-inch crushed gravel. That's been delivered. It's in my driveway right now. I have been planning the second shed. Well, I guess it will become the only shed once I tear the new shed down. What a mistake and waste of money that was. And I did finish that this weekend. I should have got the rest of the trim on. I got the rest of the top walls up. Let's just say, like everything I do, it looks good from afar, but it's far from good. I like to learn things the hard way. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I'll try it. I'll try to rush it, and then I'll hate it, and I'll end up doing it again, usually. um, but in this instance, and I had built a shed before with my father, but it was like 15, 20 years ago. It was so long ago. About 15 years ago. I had completely forgotten everything that he showed me, and I had been watching a lot of YouTube videos on like garage construction and stuff. I think my biggest problem there was I kept jumping around from video to video to video from different builders, and I started mixing up different techniques, and then applied me being a no patience, I want to get this up quickly, and it just turned into a shit show. And mainly that all started with me not perfectly squaring up the floor. So yes, not squaring up the floor of a shed is a big deal, especially when you get to the roof. So that was a pain in the ass. And in hindsight, watching more videos on shed construction, I could have done it so many other ways that would have been so much easier had I just taken more time to do my homework instead of just falling back and saying to myself, "Oh, I did a shed in the past, I can do it." But yeah, I only need it for 3 or 4 years to store inflatable bounce houses and tents, tables, chairs, stuff like that. Because it's gonna be 3, 4, 5 years before estimating that unless some act of God, like you win the lottery or something, or a relative dies and you inherit a lot of money. But yeah, 3, 4, 5 years of payments on my mortgage to be able to feel comfortable getting a home equity, to be able to do the 2-car garage. So I thought they were gonna collide there for a minute. I was like, oh shit. But I do like that throw system. It doesn't even have to get off or anything. But yeah, it's gonna be a while before I can do the 2-car garage. We really want to do the family room and the sunroom first. But I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up doing the garage and the sunroom together, because I think what we're going to end up doing is connecting the two, but leaving a walking path, like a connected roof, but a walking path between the two, just so I can run piping for water and electricity, and tying into the septic tank from the second floor of the garage for the the guest room or in-law, whatever you want to call it. So I'll probably have to end up doing that just to be able to tie that in, which is fine. But we'll probably end up having a contractor just do both at the same time, do the garage and the sunroom, and then at that point I'll have the storage for the train. It should be great. But I do need to get this other shed built for some storage temporarily, and for when the day comes that I need to move my office and all of that stuff into the new shed to be able to tear down the garage to build the 2-car garage. So yeah, that's a process. I have been researching trestles that I want to do for that first big crossing coming up the right side of the property from where the 2-car garage will be. So I have, you can see on the little layout there, and I have updated that layout. I talked to a gentleman through email in New Hampshire, and he's invited me and the kids to come up and take a ride. I have to pull out my engine, see if it still works. Probably needs all new batteries. It's been like 10, 12 years since I got to play on the train. But yeah, I'd love to go up, and I saw some of his videos, Ossipee, something like that. It was a long name. But he had an amazing layout on about 2 acres of land. He had 2,400 feet of track, and I was just blown away. I'm like, how in the hell did you squeeze 2,400 feet of mainline rail onto 2 acres of land? And he emailed me back almost immediately with the diagram of his property track layout, and I was just, wow, look at this, all these loops and how he did it to achieve it. And I said to myself, wow, that's awesome. This guy's got like a 10-minute ride, you know, at a good pace. And it was capable of running multiple trains, and of course you could switch it up to try different routes and all that, which was just great. So I got to thinking, like I always do, and I started playing around with my little sketch again. And I said to myself, you know what, I need more. I want more, I want more, I want it longer. I want to be able to run multiple trains. I want to be able to switch routes. I know it's going to cost me a whole lot more. That original layout, I did finally get the walking measure tape wheel. And I did walk that original design that you saw in the last video, and that was 1,550 feet of main line, I believe it was. And where is that paper? I had it right here. That's not the one. I don't know what I did with it, but that sucks. I think it was 1,500 feet. It was either 1,500 feet mainline or 1,500 feet with the sidings, but it was right around there. It was a lot. I was excited, but I still wanted more. I'm like, I need another loop. I need to make it longer. I mean, I like the idea of the down and back, but at the same time, it's like, I like the idea of being able to run multiple trains, so I could do this for my kids without fear of them crashing in behind me. And, you know, but, so yeah, I redid the layout design. That new loop that you see in the center there is not cleared out on the property. I'll have to walk it. I did go through that original route, put little flags about every 10-20 feet, just so I could play around and feel good about having a train there someday. But yeah, I gotta clear out that other new route and put the flags down for that. I gotta spread some gravel. I am gonna put that outside line that goes by the two-car garage, like right off the side of the driveway there. Because that's right near where all the gravel's dumped. So I want to use my hopper and gondola to move that stone. And what I think I'm going to do is, like, I know I can put like 5 or 6 5-gallon buckets in the gondola. So I think I'm going to do is just fill up 5-gallon buckets of stone from the pile, put them in the gondola, and then just spread it as I go. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'll start laying track right from the end of on the driveway, from that point, and run a single line up to where that new shed will go, and I'll put in that switch there. That's right after. I had to move it. I have to move it to right after the trestle, because of the distance is not correct on the layout here. It's about 8, maybe 10 feet total from the back edge of that shed to the beginning of that trestle, and that's just not enough space to go from 2 rails to 1 before the trestle. So what I think I'm going to end up having to do is a double track going across that first trestle, and then combining them together right after the trestle to continue on. So yeah, I'm excited to get going on that. Still working out in my brain how I want to secure the footings for the trestle. I know how to build the trestle. I've seen the video. That looks easy. 4x6s and all that. Little bell. But I'm torn between, do I want to do a cement pour on the sides? Do I want to do 6x6s? Do I want to you know, do you use stone or something like that? I haven't decided yet, so I'm still pondering that. But I am going to start laying some track. Really, I'm just waiting for the track screws and locking nuts to arrive. I did take a peek at them in Home Depot, and the only ones you can get that are the fine thread with those that around that size locking nut. They sell in those little stupid bags. Like, here's 4 screws for $1. It's like, oh my god. No, I need bulk. I'm not buying these little baggies of nuts and screws. So I'm waiting for those to arrive, and then I will start laying some track. My kids are excited. I'm excited. Once I get some track down, I'm going to pull the cars and the engine out and see if the engine even works anymore. I hope it does. At the worst, I need 2 new deep cycle batteries. But I mean, it has a brand new motor in it. It has there was a malfunction with the sound system, but I think that's just a loose wire, to be honest with you. I was just lazy. I didn't really care. As long as the horn was working and the bell was working, I didn't care. I didn't care about the the non-authentic weird chugging sound or engine sound that it made. It didn't sound right to begin with, so I didn't care about it. But yeah, I gotta pull those out, check them. I'm gonna give all the rolling stock a good clean. If it needs it, a new coat of paint. It looks pretty good actually, but the trucks definitely need a new coat of paint. I had it painted black, I think. I'm not even sure. I don't remember. To look. But yeah, I'm excited to get some track down, lay some ballast, get my driveway back, and roll some cars. That would be great. But yeah, I can't wait to get going on that. Other than that, I don't think I've done anything else. I've been working on some other stuff. Like I said, I finished the shed. I got the stone in. I ordered all the hardware. I ordered a whole bunch of crap. Um, I'm actually trying to preemptively prepare for a catastrophic winter that I can only assume is coming, because I mean, I don't trust government at all. And Brandon has been screwing up ever since day one. And these oil prices, I just have this gut feeling that home heating oil here in New England is going to hit, $8, $9, $10 a gallon this winter. With this, I mean, you've heard these talks of nuclear war ramping up with Ukraine and Russia. So I've been preemptively trying to figure out a way to. What is going on? Brave little engine. Cool. But yeah, I've been trying to think of a way to heat my house without using so much heating oil. My father has the hot water floors, the cozy warm floors, the hot water that goes through tubing under your floors. And that was really cool. It was awesome waking up every morning to nice warm floors. But that's a lot of work. But I wanted to do something along those lines, and I started doing research, and I guess basically your typical home heating system is just a boiler, just heating water, and the water runs through piping to your registers in your floor, your little what the hell are they called? Maybe they're just called registers. I don't know. Radiators almost. To heat your house. And I said to myself, well, Jesus Christ, it's just hot water. And I've got, out in my garage that I've turned into, an office. It's a a 12 by 14 office, I have a little wood burning stove in it, and it's hot as shit in here. And I love the smell of fire. I love being out here in the wintertime, have a little fire going. And it's just a small little campfire type of like a tent fire box thing. And I've got stone down on the floor, pavers underneath it, and I've got hardy board on the sides, and I've got it all piped out correctly. I sweep the chimney at least once a week, and there hasn't been any problems. I set that up carefully. I didn't want to burn my shit down, but at the same time, I didn't want to get some huge ass thing for this tiny little room. So I need something small, something really small. But I've been just thinking, I'm like, there's so much heat coming off of this. If there was only a way to capture that heat and send it to the house, I'd be all set. And I started, sketching out these little plans for sort of like a steam engine, where it's got the rods in the boiler where all the water passes through and heats the water to a steam. But I don't need to heat it to a steam. I just need to heat it up to 150, 200 degrees, just like a home boiler would. So I started creating this, back and forth zigzag copper setup that would sit on top and wrap around the sides of my little fireplace thing. So, because it's obviously it's hot on the sides and the top and going up the pipe. And I was gonna do like a curl up the pipe, for like a foot and a half maybe. And I bought a hot water pump, and I've been playing around with that. And my idea was not to seal the system because of obviously steam pressure. But I had seen on other videos that you could use an old army ammo box, because it's steel, and obviously it's built for carrying ammo, so it can handle the heat. It's like, I think it's steel. So my idea was to drill a hole in the bottom of one of these taller ammo boxes and put a copper pipe coming out of that, and obviously seal it, and have that go to the hot water pump, which then sends the water that's in that box through that system of pipes that wraps around the fireplace, which heats the water and then sends that water to the house. And I did order 3 wall mount registers, or Jesus, what the hell are they called again? Radiators. And I'm just gonna run that hot water pipe into the basement, and then run it up into the 3 rooms that I want to heat, and attach it to these radiators, and then have the return pipe come back to the garage and dump into that box. So this way it's not enclosed, so there's no pressure buildup, and I can easily add water to that if needed, and regulate the temperature there. So I did start working on that. I'm waiting for the parts. I'm waiting for the radiators to come. I'm waiting for more connectors to come, the ammo box to come. But I'm going to give that a try, to see if I can't save a little bit. Because I'm out here every night until like 3 in the morning doing work online. So if I got a fire going, why not get free heat from like 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning? So even if it cuts my oil bill in half, I'll be happy. So I'm going to give that a try too. So that's another thing I've been tinkering with, which has stalled me from the train stuff. But basically just waiting for stuff to arrive, and I'll get going on that again. As far as that other shed, I kind of want to establish at least the floor of that so that I can use that as a, you know, sort of a template to lay the tracks next to it, so that I don't have my angles all screwed up, and you know, down the road quickly build some sort of enclosure to protect the train. Right now I'm just keeping it in my new shed off the rail, but I don't want to have to keep taking it on and off rail, so I want to build something like that at some point. But I don't know, I'm still trying to decide, do I want to do a cement slab for that 16 by 20, because it would have a lot of weight in it. It would have down the road a Kubota and all that. Now the cost of plywood these days, the cost of 2x10s, you know, it's like, wow, I might be better off just pouring a cement slab. What's next here? Just check this out. Back it up. I wanted to go to the number 2 of that. What's going on with this internet? Computer is being really weird today. Really weird today. On part 2. Jeez. Why is this so difficult? I have too many things going. Google is not responding. There it goes. Part 2, there it is. Alright, let's let them go. But, yeah, this I can't wait for this. And this layout's gorgeous. All these little stops he's created around 2 lakes and the signal system. It's really cool. But yeah, I'm gonna get working on it soon. It is starting to cool down. We're in the 50s now here in Massachusetts. The last couple of days have been in the 50s overnight. So yeah, this season's wrapping up pretty quickly. I was hoping to go through till, you know, the beginning of December doing some outside work, but with it getting this cold, it's like, oh shit. Let me get some of this track down. Let me get these rocks out of my driveway before, you know, it gets wicked cold here. But yeah, that's about it. I just basically wanted to touch on that I've now updated the track plan for a 3rd time. And I think, and I've said this before, but I think this is probably the track layout plan I'm going to go with. Because I'm just spending far too much time obsessing over different things, different layout ideas. And the problem is I watch these videos, like we're watching now, I watch these videos and I see little things on other people's layouts, and I want to kind of almost emulate them or copy those ideas. Oh, I like that trestle, I want to do that. Or, oh, I like how he squeezed 2,400 feet into 2 acres. How did he do that? And then try to incorporate, you know, the mechanics behind the looping systems to achieve that. And you know, I keep my eye open for different ideas on switches, and I also saw one. The same guy up at that Ossipee Railroad, New Hampshire, they had some interesting train lift in a storage container. And I said to myself, wow, I could probably do that in my shed, or in my garage. And then I would be able to get the 5 or 6 hoppers and 3 gondolas that I wanted to get. I could probably even get that tanker car I wanted. And it was basically, I want to say, like just like a tow winch, an electric winch, like a 12-volt winch that was lifting up a platform so you could double stack the trains. And I was like, that's a great idea. I'm like, yeah, I just doubled my storage. And it looked relatively easy to do. So I'm probably going to copy that idea. And he had electronic switches, which was really cool. Another great idea. But yeah, I love to see this stuff. Kind of waiting for my kids to get a little bit older before I start really venturing out and taking them to other people's tracks or club tracks. I myself haven't been to anyone else's track or a club track yet, other than when I was a little kid. My grandfather took me. But the problem is I just don't really know anyone in the hobby because I'm all over the place. I really don't have time to do a lot of this. So I've basically just been focusing on my own property and doing it here. But as they get a little older, I think I will venture out more and try to become a member of the New England Live Steamers and start visiting other tracks. Kind of just wanted to get something going for myself first. I don't know, I'm weird like that. I really want to build a train in my backyard. I can't wait for this. Like, I really can't. Like, just looking at this, going through the woods. I can't wait for this. This is going to be so awesome. Someday, I will get there. Someday. But yeah, that's the fun of the planning. Lots of planning. Lots of, revisiting those plans. I do things in little spurts, really get really excited for train, and then I get really excited for working on the house, or I'll get really excited for a website I'm working on or something, and I'll just divert my attention temporarily to whatever I'm going on about at the current minute. But the trains have always been a lifelong passion of mine. I've always loved trains, and this is definitely something I will accomplish slowly, but I will get there. But yeah, still working at it. I hope in the next week or two to get the rest of the track up from his property and get it all cleaned up and re-drilled and rail connector hardware here so I can start laying the track, and obviously I'll make a video of that. That'll be exciting. But we're also wrapping up the rental company's season, so I've had to work with that. There's some Halloween rentals coming up, people having Halloween parties, so I got a couple of bounce houses going out. I think all of my tables and chairs are going out. I had all of my tables and chairs go out last weekend, so that was a headache. Doing all that. But, it's extra money towards the train. But, yeah, that's about it. I'm not gonna bore your ears off with my rambling all night as I watch train videos, but I could honestly watch these videos for hours and hours and hours and just fantasize in my head about how much fun this is going to be when I finally finish my track. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with this new layout here, so I'm going to clear that route too. I might not be able to clear it this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the Bobcat again this season. But I have plenty of other stuff. I got plenty of work on my hands. It's really as down the track, as you would say, before I get to that loop. So I can definitely get going with what I have, or what I will soon have. And I will post those videos to come. So I hope everyone's having a great end of their running season. And I look forward to chatting with you on the next one. Have a great evening, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.